This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everybody, welcome to show 136 Aussie Mac Zone again. Here with Garth. How are you?
G'day, how you going, Michael?
Very good, thank you, mate. Survived the weekend okay?
I did. We had a wild one, but it was good.
Excellent.
It wasn't that wild. How about you?
Yeah, no, just nice couple of things happening. So another run with the car club, so that was good.
Excellent.
Sat under a tree and looked at the Botany Bay. It was beautiful.
Okay, that's nice. That sounds good anyway.
Yeah, it was perfect. Perfect weather, the whole deal. So
Yeah, lovely.
So, just a reminder, we are bought together by ATH Web Hosting, and our professional web hosting people, instant cPanel hosting, install your own favourite software scripts, top-notch support to assist you with any problems, instant activation, 99.5% uptime, from as low as $5.95 per month when paid annually. Our mate Glenn. Yes. So we've got our Aussie Apple Ramblings this week, and number one, WhatsApp has enabled end-to-end encryption. So continuing on from the Apple encryption stories of the last few weeks, WhatsApp has started using full end-to-end encryption. The idea is simple. When you send a message, the only person who can read it is the person or group chat that you send the message to. No one else can see inside that message. Not cyber criminals, not hackers, not oppressive regimes, not even the WhatsApp people. So end-to-end encryption helps make communication via WhatsApp private, sort of like face-to-face communication. So what do you think about that, Garth?
Oh, I don't know. Like face-to-face communications, that's when you got your bugs sitting there, and I guess the same thing could happen with WhatsApp. No, it's good, isn't it? I mean, I think this whole law case with Apple has sort of spurred all these companies on to get it sorted before any rules come into place. The encryption was already there on Android, I believe. Have you heard that? I think, but now that it's added to iPhone as well, and the web too. So whether you're using WhatsApp on the web, or I didn't even know you could use WhatsApp on the web actually, but there you go. WhatsApp on the web on Android or on the iPhone, you got end-to-end encryption, which is a nice thing.
Excellent. So for all us people that have got nothing to hide,
yeah,
now we can hide it.
That's right. And hide our big nothings.
Yes.
Hey Michael, are you recording your end? Sorry, just butting for
Yes, I am.
Okay. I might just grab that audio.
With Piezo.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, definitely got that happening as well, my friend.
Sweet. I'm getting that crackling coming through again, and I don't know why it is. It's only coming on noise at the moment. So.
All right. So we've also got
pressing on.
We've got new Apple TV ad, Father Time, release starring Kobe Bryant. So the 1 minute spot centers around Bryant and Jordan. Michael Jordan using the Apple TV and Siri to open the NBA app, play a movie, fast forward to a time, and the ad uses the same trailer backdrop as earlier one. So yeah, it's based on Bryant's all-star career with LA Lakers, who played his last game of his 20-year career on Wednesday. So, and it's coming to an end because of his age, apparently. Poor old bloke.
He's going out with a bit of money, and Apple are just giving him a bit more.
Yes. And then we've also got 7 watch apps coming, so we'll have to keep an eye out for those on TV, and you can obviously go to Apple website and have a look at them. Exactly. 7, but they're knocking them over.
Yeah, only little ones, I think. A couple of 15 seconds, 18 seconds, or something like that each.
Yeah.
Okay. All focusing on this fitness stuff again, so they're really, really pushing this, fitness side of the Apple Watch. And thinking about outside of telling the time, that's probably one of the main things I use it for, actually. So.
Yes, making sure you stand up, and I used that a lot the other day because I was sitting down for so long.
'Yeah.
Catching up on some work, so it was good to just stand up and Just get that reminder while you're focused on something else.
Yeah. So a month or two ago, we had a story about how Apple were moving some of their iCloud services over to Google. They mostly use Amazon apparently, but have used a number of different people. But there's a report that they're working with the China-based, let's see what they're trying to get the name, server vendor called Inspa, who apparently have worked with IBM and a number of other companies previously. But this is just a report. There's no confirmation from either parties, but it again fuels speculation that Apple are really trying to move all of their iCloud infrastructure onto their own hardware. They've obviously got a number of data centers around the country, around the US and in Europe and in Scotland or Ireland. I think they've got one as well.
Yeah,
which they're building out. So, what do you think, Michael? I know we've speculated about this previously, but sometimes you hit stuff on iCloud and it works really well, and other times you hit stuff and it doesn't. We've sort of speculated that maybe you're getting Microsoft or Amazon or Google. You don't know who you're actually hitting. If they bring it all to their own hardware, basically, are we going to see more reliable iCloud?
I would hope so, and if you can't blame anyone except Apple, that's it, isn't it? Buck stops there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I don't know how long this will take, but let's hope it does improve. You would have to think across, I know the world is good at doing distributed services now, but having all these different providers providing a bit of the pie must have made some of it, so many points of failure, where things could go wrong. So hopefully, it will.
And if Amazon's got some and everyone goes to their Echo and asks it to watch a particular movie or whatever, I'm sure that, if it's end of school time, for example, and all the kids come home from school and want to watch Space Invaders or something, like
whatever it is that the kids watch these days.
Yeah, but it must, I know it makes a difference out here what the bandwidth's like at certain times of the day.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's definitely noticeable then.
Yeah, so the same thing probably applies all over the place.
Yeah.
So, we had a reply from Apple regarding the localization question last week, which when we were talking about saying to Siri, I've been raped. So we got so Apple's official quote is, Siri is built into every iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch and Apple TV to help our customers find what they need and get things done quickly. Many of our users talk to Siri as they would a friend, and sometimes that means asking for support or advice. For support in emergency situations, Siri can dial 000, find the closest hospital, recommend an appropriate hotline, or suggest local services. And with Hey Siri, sorry everyone, customers can initiate these servers without even touching their iPhone. So it still didn't resolve that one thing. So from our point of view, we hope that localizing situations that arises like I was raped and others that will crop up in the future will be taken on board and realised sooner rather than later. So we're just asking Apple just to, you're doing great and you're ahead of the rest of the field, and we just like you to keep it up and get that result for us. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Not sure what I can really add to that one. So, but no, it's good that there's a response, and if that can be improved everywhere, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
so there is already localized information for, if you say call the police, it'll dial our number and not the American number, for example, or the English number. So that's good already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've also got the Loop magazine app is no longer. So this is from Jim Dalrymple, he was formerly of Macworld and now on his own, and the Loop has pulled. He runs a site called the Loop, and has pulled its app from the App Store, commenting, "When Apple Newsstand started, I thought it was a way to reach readers with unique content, pay writers well for their content, and create a great experience on an iOS app. I guess I should have realised when Apple killed Newsstand that it was over, but I pressed on. That was a mistake on my part." So Chris Harris and Matustawecki created what I believe to be the best publishing and reading experience on iOS, and I thank them for that. However, the App Store is not a place for independent publishers. My struggles are no different from any other developer on the App Store, and if you have a game or a social media app, you're golden in Apple's eyes. Anything else, forget it, unless you're a big publisher, and then you're golden too. I hate failure, and this was a failure for me. I will learn from it and focus my attention back on the Loop website where it belongs. I'm sorry to the subscribers of the magazine, and hope you enjoy the upcoming issues I prepared for you. So, yeah, Jim's pretty switched on guy. So he's obviously a bit.
He seems a bit bitter about it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I wonder what it really speaks to. Whether it is, you're golden if you have this kind of game, or social media app and so forth. I don't know if that's the case so much as what are people actually prepared to pay for in a subscription?
Yes. These days very hard, isn't it?
Yeah. So we all, none of us like advertising, but hey, we'd prefer to go to a website and ignore a few ads than pay a subscription to get something without the ads.
Yeah.
So Newsstand was not a success. Let's not beat about the bush. It was not a success by any means. But once again, I just, in the economy that we had, that Apple have established in the App Store, I think it's really hard to get people to take up a subscription for something.
See, I don't hold it against Apple because, for example, the fastest race to the bottom for pricing, there's just on, say, to-do list apps, there's some that I've paid good money for, $40 or $50 an app, and there's plenty that are free. But how are those free ones gonna, they're gonna still be there when Apple change the next operating system or something like that? They just.
Yeah, you don't know, do you?
Nah. Yeah.
It's a hard one. There's a lot of speculation, I guess, around what Apple could do to improve the situation for vendors in the App Store, but I don't know if there's any easy answers. Bit of kerfuffle around on the same sort of basic topic with Text Expander going to a subscription model, and there's a lot of people who are, we really like the idea of app producers being able to make some money, but we don't like it.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a tricky one, and I don't know.
I pay a subscription for the software that I use for doing websites.
Yep.
That's about, I think it's only like $40 a year, something like that.
Okay.
And it's a really easy, simple website design tool. So yeah.
So it's worth it to you. It has the utility it needs to have.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
So,
speaking of money,
yeah.
and vaguely speaking of money, Mac sales haven't increased as much as we might want to see from iPhone sales and everything else. It's all got to be amazing for Apple, doesn't it? They've only increased by 1%, but compared to the rest of the market, which is decreased by about 9%. So the Apple share in the PC space, or in the desktop space, has increased. What was a bit over 1%, I think.
Yeah.
From this time last year, they've increased their own sales by a little bit, but the biggest problem is the rest of the market's collapsing. 9% decrease from this time last year, whereas Apple's managed to fight off that trend and actually grow by a little bit. I know you certainly do see more Macs around in the world these days. In real life, sort of thing, not just on TV. So I think they've really really had a bit of a halo effect from Apple's iPhone, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Yeah.
And rightly so,
It's got to
too.
be good news for you. More people who have Macs, the more Macs you've got to fix.
That's right. Just on the averages, there's more work.
Exactly, yeah.
So, there's definitely more around, and they're being used in different areas. Not only the advertising area, but I've got them in engineering companies and design companies, schools again. So yeah, it's good. It's never ending at the moment.
Excellent.
Even banks.
Even banks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I noticed that Sydney Services still had some, or New South Wales Services still had some, because some of the road traffic authority stuff wasn't working properly, so they kept some really old ones that they had for a little while longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So also, Apple's developer portals got a facelift, and it's beautiful. Apparently, I'm not a developer, so I haven't actually gone in there. So, but if you log on to your Apple developer account, it may look a little different. It seems Apple has refreshed the page, though it's not clear if the change affects everyone immediately. So, I would have thought that must be very close. The main portion of the screen has an iTunes Connect button, as well as a direct link to manage certificates, identities and profiles standard. A new side panel gives you quick access to those features, as well as CloudKit. So all the little things in the background just to make things easier for the workers.
There you go. They haven't forgotten the developers after all, apparently. despite Jimmy Dalrymple's assertions to the contrary.
Yeah. So I've got a new slide to go up now, because we're promoting our friends at Aussie Tech Radio. So the slide brings up, and it's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 shows. And if you've got an Australian or a New Zealand podcast that you like included, just get in touch with Glenn, and I'm sure you'll put it up there with the rest of them. There's things like
Absolutely.
Osdroid podcast, or Two Blokes Talking Tech, or
Osdroid.
Yeah.
Don't know about them.
Linking Edge, Your Tech Life. So yeah, there's a few up there.
So
Boys
probably
of
the
Tech.
best for guys, for us on the iPhone, is the TuneIn Radio. The easiest way to go. You just go in there and search it and add it to your favourites.
Yep.
And away you go.
So yeah, it's good. So, and don't forget we've got Aussie Tech Security and Aussie Tech Heads podcast with our friends as well. So
absolutely, get to hear Glenn's dulcet voice or voices when he puts one on.
Yep. Right, here we go. There we go. So Garth, we've got Apple Music Challenge that you've had this week.
Yeah, one little thing that we ran across, and I thought it might be a useful how-to for the show, is I had a person who wanted to sync their music from their iTunes on their computer, it was a PC actually, onto their iPhone. So, do the old trick of plugging it in and picking the phone and going down to music from that table there, and there's no box to check and sync all music to their phone. Like, what's going on? Couldn't work it out. Of course, this person had Apple Music turned on, which means that it also by default turned on Apple, what is it called? Apple Music Library? Yeah. Apple Music Library, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Sort of the bit that replaces, to a degree, our iTunes Match. So the way this works is it will automatically sync anything with your computer, anything in any of your iTunes libraries. So whether it be on your phone or on your computer, if you have Apple Music Library turned on, that content will be made available on any of the other devices.
Yeah.
So when you have that on, though, it disables the old form of syncing music to your phone. You know, the old plug it in and enable
And physically get the
all...
music from one side to the other.
Yeah, that's right. So that can be a little bit disconcerting at times. And what this person needed to do to get the music to sync to their phone was to go into preferences. So you just your command comma or even control comma on Windows, and in the settings there, you can enable Apple Music Library. Once you do that, you'll usually get a pop-up message saying whether or not you want to merge music or replace. If you pick replace, it will replace the music on your computer. If you're doing all this from your computer, of course, it will replace the music on the computer with the music from that you've already got in Apple Music Library.
Yeah.
But you can click merge, and then any albums that you've got on your computer will be merged into your Apple Music Library and all show up under the My Music tab on your phone. It won't sort of download automatically to your phone. You'll just be able to stream it from there. And you can, of course, on any of the stuff that's in your phone that shows up there, you can tell the music app to download and keep a local copy if that's what you want to do for offline listening. So, if you've got plenty of data...
You don't have to do that one song at a time, but do you?
No, you can do the album by album or however you've got it in there, however you're viewing it at the time.
Yeah. And it makes a difference for people, say they're going on holidays and want to listen to all their songs on a plane, for example. If you've got a 10-hour plane trip, that's when you want to... You can't stream it.
Actually, I'm wondering, now that you've mentioned that, how... Because you can view by album, obviously, and artist. Yeah. So I think you can tell it to download on...
What about by playlist and just create your own playlist and say...
Yeah, I would suspect you can, but I haven't tried doing that.
Yeah, so...
Because, if you had to go through song by song, it would be difficult. But I'm pretty sure I've done before, certainly album by album.
Yeah.
And I would imagine artist by artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how you're viewing it in the My Music tab.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Excellent.
But if you don't want to sync it that way, you can of course go on your iPhone into settings, into music, and turn off Apple Music Library, and then you'll still be able to use Apple Music if you've got a subscription for it.
Yeah.
But you can then once again plug it into your computer and sync it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, that's.
So to do that, you need to turn off Apple Music Library on the two devices.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. So we've got one. So Cultimate had an article on how to do this, which we've put in the show notes. So it's sharing your screen, your Mac screen using iMessage.
Yes.
So, and this is good if you're supporting family or supporting even other Mac-to-Mac device. So you launch messages and find the contact you want to share your screen with. Make sure that chat is selected. In the top navigation, you click on Buddies, choose Invite to share my screen or ask to share screen. So if you want to look at your grandmother's screen, choose the option you want, and the person on the other end will get a request that they have to accept, and then bang, you're in there. And it makes it much easier for supporting people when they don't seem to talk you through exactly what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Or jumping forward, and when you're trying to support them, so they also tend to not quite do exactly what they're asked to do.
It's funny, isn't it? Those sort of conversations. Or
yes.
I have occasion to hear some people trying to give tech support over the phone at times. I think they're really not listening.
Yes. So, some people will just not describe what they're doing, or seem to take forever to do what they're asked for simple instructions, or but it's all part of the fun of support, isn't it? That's why we do it.
Absolutely.
That's why we got these flat heads from the brick walls. But
Exactly.
Yeah. So another one that came up this week was, if you want to, the Notes app is had a bit of work done to it lately, and people are using it a lot more on iOS. They've made it secure, etc. But if you want to have nested folders in Notes in iOS, so if you have your, you might have meetings for one client, meetings for another client, for example, and you've got notes for each meeting. What you have to do is to create the folder called meetings. But if you do it on your Mac, then inside that you can have client A, and inside that one you can have client B. So you can have them various levels of folders that you create on the Mac that you can then use on iOS on the phone or your iPad, for example. You just can't nest them in the iOS.
On the Mac?
Yeah. So
you need to create them on the Mac side. Can you
Yes.
create them on the? Yeah, okay. You can't. There's no way to create them on. Okay.
you can't nest them. You can create them on the iOS side, but you can't actually nest them inside each other. You just end up.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, I hadn't come across that before.
Yeah. So for people that want to have nested, you just do it on the Mac. Even if you create the folder in a meeting and then go back and nest it later on, that's easy to do too. You don't actually have to recreate it.
Yeah, that's fine. You can just move it around later when get organised when you're doing that. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. So, anything else to ramble on about, my friend?
No, I don't think so. I think that'll do us for tonight.
All right. So we just to give you a rundown of my end of the recording.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. So, so for software, we use Zoom as our video phone system because it's less graphic intensive than Skype is. Skype would make some of our machines work really hard. So Boinks is our video recorder / switcher. So it's set up with lower thirds data, which is i.e. our name and the AMZ logo. The ad page for ATH web hosting, and our new one that we've put up tonight, which is the streaming radio that we have from ATH. So we've got audio input. Here we go. It's also got does audio input from my mic and from Zoom. We've got video inputs from Zoom via screen grab. So I've got to draw a little box around Garth each week and get him in the right place.
Put me in my box.
Because and then when Glenn's here, I have another box around him, and I just can switch those around. And me, I'm using a camera, so it's directly connected. Currently, I'm using a Canon camera, which is a few years old now. It's an old tape digital video recorder camera.
Okay.
Just because I think the pictures, because the sensors are just that much bigger than the Logitech C920 that we had, which is one of the best web cameras, but I think just the picture's a bit better because of the sensors are bigger. We've got to use Soundflower as software again, because that creates a software audio output from Zoom that I can then use into Boinks, because you've basically got to have a mixer somewhere, and because it's done internally as opposed to externally, having different, you could have 5 different Macs running all of this and then just mixing it at the end. And we've started using Piezo just to record my audio only. So if there's a problem, I can just send my audio to Garth, and he can mix it separately at his end.
And I'll get you to do that.
So
I'll have fun trying to do that one.
Yeah. And then I create the video file by importing the Boinks file into iMovie. Edit that by removing the crap before and after the show.
There's none of that, surely.
I then add the intro and the outro files and share the finished iMovie to YouTube and iTunes, having to put this MP3 tags and things we've got to put on it.
Yeah.
And my hardware involves an iMac with a 3TB drive, an Audio-Technica ATH2500 USB mic. As I said, I was using a C920 webcam, but now I'm using the Canon MD120 with Firewire to connect the iMac from the camera. I've got a little USB numerical keypad that I use for doing the video switching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tried several Bluetooth and wireless apps for the iPhone, but they either had too much delay, or 1 minute they'd work straight away and the next minute they'd take 2 seconds to change the video signal from one camera to the other. So I've got a LED light on a tripod that also holds my show notes on the iPad. Yeah, and I'll put some photos up on this week's show notes, which is aussiemaxzone.com.au/show-notes/, and then you can get all the show notes with some pictures this week just for a change.
Excellent.
Yeah, so these are the little challenges that we have when we
Yeah, I've got to work out what's going on. Ever since I've been using this new interface, I'm getting this crackling coming through, and I don't know where it's coming from. I don't think it's just the... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening. It's only when I've got all of this going, what do you hijack, Zoom?
everything going at the same time.
Yeah.
So I wonder what it is.
I don't know. But I'll get you to send me that piezo, and I'll record it.
I'll do that for you, my friend, because I actually pushed the button before we started the show this week. I was about 10 seconds in last week, and before I realised.
It should be good, actually, having local court recordings of it. So if you're out there and you hear it, let us know if you notice any difference.
All right. The other challenge I have is, because I'm getting old and a bit senile, switching the video, because I'm trying to have a conversation and think about the conversation.
Yes.
And then it's remembering that, even though it's only push a button, I'm trying to look at who I'm talking to, so I've got to try and remember to push the button all the time. So
which button is? Who are they? 1, 2, or 3, or whatever?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge for an old fart like me. So
we're getting there.
Yeah. Okay.
136 shows in, we should be getting there by now.
Yes. We keep changing the rules, but that's the problem.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah. You just get it working, and then someone will come along like me and say, "No, I'm going to do this, going to do that."
Yeah. So yeah. That's the best I've got, everyone. So thank you for all turning up.
Whenever it is you're turning up.
Yes. Enjoy.
All right. Good night.
Thank you.